At the beginning of the story, we see some people enjoying on the beach. A boy named Doug had also come there to celebrate the holiday with his parents. He is reading a book. After a while, he looks out of his car to see the view of the seashore. After a while, they reach their lake house and take down their luggage. Here we see that many boats are standing on the shore of the lake. Doug goes there and meets a friend of his who tells him that this time a lot of girls have come here and they can have a lot of fun here. He says that this time the summer is going to be fun. After this, they go to the bar there, where a man comes and removes the wires of the instrument, due to which the music stops and people get angry, but soon that man starts playing guitar with the music band and people like him a lot. Doug's friend makes him wear an apron and he says that summer has started now. After this, Doug comes to his house and calls out that he has come home, but he finds out that there is no one at home and goes to his room and starts looking at some pictures. When he looks outside the window, he sees a couple who have come there. Their name is Elliot and Lena. Doug is looking at Lena, who is very beautiful. He keeps looking at her, but soon they go inside the house. Doug still tries to see Lena, and as soon as Lena looks at him, he gets scared and moves away from the window so that Lena does not see him. After this, Doug takes his bicycle to see her and deliberately starts repairing it and sees Lena bending down and removing dust from her shoes. After this, Doug goes to his friend and they talk about girls. Thereafter, they take a mat and go inside an old boat whose other side is covered with a rope. They hear someone laughing from the other side. Doug then returns home and sees that new neighbors have come. Doug's father invites him to meet the new neighbors, who are none other than Elliot and Lena. Doug meets them where Elliot talks to Doug. Elliot says that Doug's father told him that he knows a lot about boats. He asked Doug to work on his boat, and he will hire him for this, where he will get more money than mowing the lawn. The next day, Doug goes to Elliot's boat, and there he sees Lena coming out after swimming. After this, Lena goes to take a bath, and Doug is watching her. Lena takes off her clothes, and Doug is still watching her. Then Elliot comes there and asks, "How is the boat?" Doug says that there is some damage to the boat. Elliot says that he is going away for a few days, and after this they talk about Doug's payment, where Doug says that he will take $12 for this work, but Elliot says that he will give him $20. At night, Doug again looks towards his neighbor's house, where Lena is changing clothes in her room, but then Elliot comes there, and he starts forcing Lena, seeing which Doug turns his face away. Next day, Elliot is passing by the lake in his car, but then a guard comes there and says that he wants to see his ID card. Elliot shows him his card, then Doug comes there and says that this card is a bit tough. Elliot says that he liked it. After this, Doug and Elliot are on the boat. Doug asks Elliot, how has he achieved so much fame? Elliot says that it is all the magic of his hard work and personality. Then the scene changes, and Doug sees Lena going out somewhere from the window of his room. After a while, he sees Lena's car. There is a sound of screaming, and he runs towards her. He sees that Lena is standing outside the car scared. She was scared after seeing a spider in the car. Doug takes the spider out of the car and kills it by crushing it. After this, he fixes the car, and meanwhile, Lena comes very close to him. Doug tells his friend about this, and his friend tells him to stay away from Elliot's personal matter because he looks dangerous to him. When Doug comes back home from his work, he sees Lena sitting outside the house. He goes to Lena, and Lena tells him that she has lost the keys of her house and she needs Doug's help to get inside. She tells Doug not to tell anyone about this because her husband has asked her to take care of herself. Then suddenly it starts raining, and Lena asks Doug to break the window with a stone and go inside so that she can go inside and open the door. Doug follows her advice and goes inside and somehow opens the door. Then Lena invites him inside and asks him to have a drink with her. They start talking, and Lena says that Doug is hurt. Lena starts cleaning his wound and says in a hushed voice that he will be fine. After this, Doug kisses her and then apologizes to her. This kiss was not good, but Lena is not bothered by it. She asks him to try again better. They both kiss each other, and Lena starts taking off her clothes. Doug helps her, and they both get intimate. The next day, they wake up together on the bed. Lena says that Doug was very good at sex. She asks if he has ever been with a girl before. Then, Doug jokingly says that this is the third time he slept with someone. After this, Lena lies down next to him. After some time, Doug goes to his house and is smiling and is happy remembering the moment spent with Lena. Then, he goes to his friend, and his friend tells that Doug had called him by mistake at night. His friend plays him the sound, which was the sound of Doug when he was with Lena. Then his friend points towards some girls and says that he can make a relationship with them, but Doug ignores him. After this, for a few days, Doug keeps an eye on Lena and starts working out for her. One day, he is working on the boat when Lena is there. Lena comes and says that Elliot has sent her to see Doug's work. They go inside the boat, and Lena asks him to pull down the curtains. Doug pulls down the curtains, and Lena starts flirting with him and starts taking off her clothes. They kiss each other and get physical. That night, Doug is working at the bar when Lena comes there with her husband. Doug sees her, but then his friend comes and stands behind him and shows him some girls, and while looking at them, says that he feels that something good is going to happen tonight. The next day, Doug is going somewhere on his bicycle. Then he sees that Elliot has stopped at a shop, so he also stops and goes inside that shop. After this, he and Lena sneak out from the back door of the shop and start kissing. But in the meantime, Elliot is coming in that direction searching for Lena. Seeing him coming, Lena and Doug stop, and Lena kisses him and leaves from there. She goes back. After a while, Elliot sees the boat on which Doug was working and says that it is not working properly. Then he encourages Doug, saying that seeing Doug reminds him of his days. Doug works very hard, and that is why he is giving him so much work. He says that he is going out of town for a few days, and taking advantage of this, Doug goes to meet Lena, and he and Lena make love on the bed, where they talk for a while. After this, Lena gives him a phone and says that Elliot is a very angry and dangerous person, so this phone will help them to talk. Then, Doug runs to the kitchen, and Lena also follows him, but their gardener sees them from outside the window. After a while, Doug goes towards the boat and sees that Elliot is standing on the boat. He goes towards the boat fearfully and sees Lena with Elliot. Elliot asks Doug to open the boat and put it in the water, so that he can find out whether the boat is seaworthy or not. While riding the boat, Elliot is about to hit a beam, but he somehow saves himself by bending. Here, Elliot gives some advice to Doug about women, and Elliot asks him if he has a girlfriend. Doug says yes, he has a girlfriend. Suddenly, the boat's engine stops, and Elliot goes to check it, after which Lena takes some time and tells Doug that she's thinking of divorcing Elliot. Then Elliot comes there and asks Doug to fix the boat. That night, Lena calls Doug and is crying. Lena tells him that Elliot has beaten her a lot, and now he has gone out for business. After this, Doug immediately goes to the hospital and tells her that she should tell everything to the police, but Lena stops him and they go home. Then, the next day, Doug is working, and then he gets a call from Lena. Lena, who was sunbathing on the lake shore, calls Doug over, and they both get intimate in an old boat. Lena tells him that she feels free with him. She also tells him about Elliot and his first wife, and that they are still stuck in a court case. Then, Doug's friend tries to find out about Doug's activities and says that he has seen a girl for him, but Doug ignores him. After this, he returns home and sees that Elliot has returned. Suddenly, he gets a call from Lena. He immediately goes to his room and talks to Lena, who is standing behind him. She asks him to come with her immediately because she needs Doug. Doug immediately goes to her house, where he finds out that Lena and Elliot had a fight, and Lena hit Elliot on the head to save herself, and he is dead now. She asks Doug to help her because she doesn't want to get into trouble. She asks what Doug can do about it. Doug says that they will find a way and that they just have to behave normally, like before. After this, he goes to work at the bar, and when he comes back, he sees that Lena is with his parents. They have some weird conversation, and Doug goes to his room. That night, Doug goes to meet Lena at her house, and Lena apologizes to him and says that I didn't want to be alone at home. So she went to meet his parents. Doug says that they can make this incident look like an accident, but Lena says that this excuse will not work. So Doug makes a new plan and tells Lena that when the police asks her, she should say that she and Elliot had a fight, and then Elliot left. After saying this, Doug takes Elliot's body and goes in his boat. But before he can leave from there in the boat, the guard sees him and calls him Mr. Harper. Doug pretends to be Elliot and leaves from there with the boat. Now the next morning, the police investigation starts, and they think that all this is an accident. After this, the police comes to Lena's house for questioning. Doug sees that Lena is talking to the policeman. That night, Doug hit Elliot's head with a beam inside the boat and then set the boat on fire with the help of alcohol and cigarettes so that it looked like an accident. Doug does his usual routine. Doug starts living his life and working in a bar where he is serving drinks to some policemen, and they are talking about the same incident. After this, a woman is shown driving who is coming to the city. The woman goes to meet the police. There she tells the police that Elliot Trust is taking this case very seriously because Elliot has a life insurance, which is worth a lot, and this money is going to be given to Lena, so every aspect related to this case is being investigated. To know what happened in the incident, the woman calls Lena for questioning and asks if she's having an affair with someone. Lena says that she is not having an affair with anyone. Lena gets upset with the woman's questions and leaves from there, and the police continues their investigation and questions the guard who saw Doug at night. After this, the police talks to Doug's father. Doug asks the guard what he is suspicious about. The guard tells him. The insurance agent then goes to Lena's house and checks the crime scene to find some evidence. She finds the broken window that Doug had broken to help Lena. Then the agent goes to Doug's house and asks his parents about the day when Lena came to meet them. Doug's parents tell that Lena had come to meet Doug. Doug hears all this and gets scared. He calls Lena but disconnects the call after seeing his parents coming in a car. Then they go to the police station where the agent asks him some questions and tries to get the truth out of his mouth, but Doug's mother tells the agent that she will not let Doug get involved in this case. Then Doug gets a message from Lena, which scares him, and she says that she wants to meet him in an old boat. Doug goes there, and Lena says that they have to stay away from each other for a few days, and after saying this, she leaves. Doug returns to his house and sees that the team of agents has arrived there. The agent tells him that he needs Doug's fingerprints and saliva. They put Doug in the police car, and the agent starts questioning him again, but Doug doesn't tell her anything. Doug tells his friend and parents about the whole case. Meanwhile, the police find a match of the blood sample which the agent gave them. Doug tries hard to prove his innocence, but every time his attempt fails, which is what Lena was planning all along. As the gardener, who saw Lena and Doug together, is killed before the police can reach him. Doug somehow escapes from there with his bicycle and goes to the shade where he finds Lena. As Doug reaches there, Lena tears her clothes and starts screaming for help and tries to make it look like Doug is trying to rape her. The police arrives and arrests Doug. Doug tells the police that they know him and he wants to do something to get rid of the charges against him. A police officer lets him go, and Doug goes to Lena's hotel to get her cell phone. But as soon as he gets the cell phone, Lena arrives there, and so does the agent. Doug tells the agent that the phone has proof of his innocence. After this, both the women go out. Doug notices the agent's feet where there is a tattoo, similar to the one Lena had on her feet. This makes Doug realize that the agent is Lena's girlfriend, and that she has been supporting Lena from the beginning. He starts remembering everything, and realizes that he was a pawn in this big game. At first, it seems that Lena will leave Doug, but for the sake of love, Lena decides to leave the cell phone for Doug, which has proof of his innocence. Then, both of them go to the hotel. The women take Elliot's insurance money and board a flight and leave. The movie ends here. Friends, if you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.